The Sufi Wisdom of Humility Tawadu, Disarming the Ego in a World of Self-Promotion. Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sufi Essence with Hammad Syed. In our contemporary world, the loudest voices often seem to gain the most attention. Social media thrives on self-promotion, personal branding, and the relentless pursuit of recognition. We're constantly encouraged to highlight our achievements, assert our opinions, and stand out from the crowd. But what if true strength, inner peace, and authentic connection lie in embracing a seemingly countercultural virtue? Today, we delve into the Sufi Wisdom of Humility, Tawadu, Disarming the Ego in a World of Self-Promotion. We'll explore how Sufism illuminates humility not as weakness or self-effacement, but as a profound spiritual power that liberates the heart from the ego. It demands and opens the door to genuine greatness and divine proximity. Prepare to discover the quiet strength of true humility. Part 1. The Ego's Trap. The allure of self-promotion in modern life, our modern environment. Fueled by digital platforms and competitive cultures, inadvertently fosters an inflated sense of self and an intense need for external validation. The spotlight culture, social media, reality TV, and influencer culture constantly encourage us to showcase our lives, talents, and opinions. This creates a relentless pressure to be seen and validated by others. The comparison trap. When everyone is promoting their best selves, we inevitably fall into the trap of comparison, fueling envy, inadequacy, and a perpetual striving to outdo others. Arrogance and self-deception. An inflated ego kibera blinds us to our flaws and shortcomings. It's making us resistant to feedback and unable to learn. It builds walls between us and others, and between us and the divine. Spiritual obstacle. For the seeker, arrogance, kibera is a primary veil. It prevents the heart from receiving divine light and guidance, as the ego believes it already knows best or is self-sufficient. This is contrary to our true state of dependence on Allah. The cost of constant performance, living in a state of perpetual self-promotion, is exhausting. It leads to anxiety, inauthenticity, and a deep dissatisfaction, because external validation is always fleeting and never truly fulfilling. Okay, Part 2. Understanding Tawadu, Humility in Sufism, a divine reflection. In Sufism, Tawadu is a foundational virtue, understood not as self-abasement, but as recognizing one's true station before Allah and His creation. From divine knowledge, true humility stems from profound knowledge of Allah's absolute greatness and our own utter dependence and servanthood. It is Allah who created you, then provided for you, then will cause you to die, then will give you life. Is there any of your partners who does any of that? Quran 30-40. Recognizing our origin and end, we come from dust and return to dust. This realization instantly disarms arrogance. All our talents, intelligence, and resources are gifts from Allah, not earned by our own merit alone. The Prophet's example. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was the epitome of humility. Despite being the greatest of creation, he mended his own clothes, served his companions, and never distinguished himself above others, saying, "Indeed, I am but a servant. I eat as a servant eats, and sit as a servant sits." Humility is inner, not outward display. True humility is a state of the heart, an inner disposition. It's not about feigning poverty or weakness, but about recognizing Allah's overwhelming presence and our true reality as His humble servants. It's often silent and unseen by others. The opposite of kiber, tawadu, is the direct antidote to kiber, arrogance, which is seen as a fatal spiritual disease that led even Iblis Satan to fall. Part 3. Cultivating Tawadu. Practical Sufi approaches to disarming the ego. How does the Sufi seeker practically cultivate this profound virtue of humility in a world that pulls us towards self-promotion? Dhikr, remembrance of Allah with presence, consistent remembrance of Allah's names related to His absolute greatness and our utter reliance, such as Allah had the One, Al-Kabir the Grand, Al-Ghani the Self-Sufficient, and Al-Samad the Eternal Refuge. This constantly reminds the heart of Allah's majesty and our insignificance before Him. Sujud, prostration and prayer. The physical act of prostration is a powerful embodiment of humility. Placing the highest part of our body, forehead, on the lowest ground is a symbolic annihilation of ego before the divine. Prolonging Sujud with sincere contemplation deepens Tawadu, Muhasaba. Self-accounting, regularly examining one's own intentions, actions, and inner states, recognizing one's own faults and shortcomings before pointing out others. This breaks down self-righteousness. Serving others, engaging in acts of selfless service, especially those that might be considered humble or menial. Serving others, especially the poor and weak, for Allah's sake, helps to dismantle the ego's pride. Seeking knowledge with humility, approaching knowledge with the understanding that the more you learn, the more you realize how little you know. True scholars are often the most humble, accepting advice and criticism, being open to receiving counsel and constructive criticism, even from those considered lesser. This requires overcoming the ego's resistance to being corrected. Contemplation on death and the hereafter. Reflecting on the temporary nature of this world and our ultimate return to Allah in the grave. All titles and statuses vanish. This powerful contemplation reduces the ego's attachment to worldly recognition. Part 4. The Fruits of Tawadu. True greatness and inner peace when we consciously cultivate Tawadu. The fruits are profound, liberating the soul and leading to true greatness, both in this life and the hereafter. Inner peace, sakina, the constant pressure to perform, to impress, and to maintain an image dissolves, replaced by a deep, quiet peace that comes from surrendering to Allah's will. Divine love and acceptance. Allah loves the humble. When we humble ourselves before Him, He elevates us. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever humbles himself for Allah, Allah will raise him." Genuine connection. Humility breaks down barriers, allowing for authentic, compassionate connections with others, free from competition or judgment. People are naturally drawn to humble individuals. Spiritual openness. A humble heart is a receptive heart. It is open to divine inspiration, spiritual insight, faith, and deeper wisdom, as it recognizes its need for guidance. Increased wisdom. Humility allows us to see ourselves clearly, learn from mistakes, and continuously grow. It prevents us from making decisions based on pride or arrogance. Protection from arrogance's traps. By disarming the ego, we protect ourselves from the pitfalls of vanity, self-deception, and the spiritual diseases that arise from an inflated sense of self. Barakah in life. A humble approach attracts divine blessings. There is a special barakah in sincere actions done without seeking personal glory. Conclusion. The crown of servanthood in a world clamoring for attention, the Sufi Wisdom of Tawadu offers a profound antidote. It reminds us that true greatness lies not in how high we elevate ourselves, but in how deeply we humble ourselves before our Creator. Humility is the crown of servanthood, a liberation from the ego's exhausting demands, and a pathway to genuine strength, unparalleled inner peace, and intimate proximity to the divine. By practicing Tawadu, we disarm the ego's illusions and unveil the beautiful reality of our true essence. As beloved servants of Allah, this is truly the essence of Sufi essence. Thank you for joining me on this profound exploration of humility. If this lecture resonated with your spirit, please like this video to help share this vital message. Subscribe to Sufi Essence with Hammad Syed for more illuminating insights. And remember to hit the notification bell. What is one way you try to practice humility in your daily life? Share your reflections in the comments below. Your insights empower our growing community. Till our next spiritual unveiling, may Allah adorn us all with the beautiful garment of Tawadu.